All right. Metabolic damage. You guys know what that means? Metabolic damage. Metabolic damage is kind of like, it's very similar to hitting a plateau. It's kind of like a plateau. Metabolic damage is it's kind of like a plateau. Metabolic for metabolic metabolism. Metabolic metabolism is kind of like the same word. Metabolic metabolism. What's metabolism? Metabolism is the rate in which your body digests the food. Now, metabolic damage, okay? So metabolism is what? The rate in which your body digests the food, and the rate in which your body burns fuel, your body burns calories. So metabolic damage is kind of like hitting a plateau. When your body has hit metabolic damage, that basically means you've came to the point and where it's hard for you to burn fat. So you damaged your metabolism. You damaged the rate in which you burn fuel, the rate in which you burn energy. So it's kind of like pretend you're a bodybuilder, right? And you're trying to cut, and you normally probably eat like 3,000. You probably range from eating 2,700 to 3,500 calories a day. So probably like 2,000 calories to 3,000 calories you eat normally. That's what you normally eat day to day. You know what I mean? And now you're trying out to be a bodybuilder, and you're trying to cut. You're trying to get lean. You're trying to be the shreddest you can be so you can win the championship. So you've cut down from 3,000. Now you're consuming 1,500 calories a day. You know what I mean? So you've been doing this for several weeks, and you've lost pounds. You've lost probably like 10 to 15 pounds very, very, very quickly. Now that being said, eating 1,500 calories for 2 to 3 weeks, that's unsustainable. That means you for the first 3 weeks, you're able to do it because you're coming from 3,000 calories a day, so you kind of have that energy. But then it's coming to a point where you need fuel. You need fuel. You're starting to become tired. You're starting to crave, and you're not having any energy to sustain yourself, to sustain your metabolic rate, to sustain the energy in which you burn foods. You know what I mean? So it's basically hard for you to be active. It's basically hard for you to burn because you're not consuming enough fuel to have a sustainable metabolism. So that's basically metabolic damage. You've come to a plateau where it's hard for you to burn fat. You've damaged your metabolism by yo-yoing your calorie intake from 3,000 to 1,500 calories. Now you can, it's okay to eat 1,500 calories, but don't do it. It's not sustainable. You get what I'm saying? So let's say if you've been eating 1,500 calories for a month straight, you're going to start craving, and that's what's going to get you to gain weight again. So once you gain weight, it's just going to be hard. It's going to be hard. So that's my take on metabolic damage. It's basically hit a plateau, man. You know what I mean? I've before, I never really knew about metabolic damage. I never really knew about metabolism, but now, I've done my research and I read about metabolism and the metabolic rate and the rate in which you burn foods and how much fuel you're supposed to be eating each and every day to be sustainable. You know what I mean? And it's basically, the consumption of food. So it's like me in how I eat. I eat high carb, low fat. I'm not eating a lot of fat during the day, but I do consume a lot of oil, but it's still low in fat. But the majority of my calories come from carbohydrates. It comes from fruit, it comes from greens, it comes from vegetables, plants, so if you find a way to be sustainable, you will not get to a point where you reach metabolic damage. You will not damage your metabolism. Your metabolism will be on point each and every day as long as you're consistent with your diet, as long as you're consistent with your meals. So try if you're going to lose weight, drop down to 1,500 calories, but don't do it for more than a week. Do it for because if you drop down Like, let's say you're eating 3,000 calories a day, and then you drop down to 1,500 calories for 3 days. You're gonna lose some pounds within that 3 days because you drastically cut down, your calories. So you can. So you could, if you want to lose weight, drop down to 1,500 calories, but don't. It's not going to be sustainable past the second week. You get what I'm saying? So don't damage your metabolism. Eat good, and just live your life. I'm out. Every time my thumb lands on this shit, I feel like I'm about to hit nitrous. Isn't that crazy?